with John Brody. This is Don Criqui back at Cleveland Stadium. 80,000 are here. It is always sold out when the Steelers come to town. Recent years, it's always been sold out when anybody comes to town. Cleveland leading the National Football League in attendance. Now the Steelers coming up to the line of scrimmage with a 3rd down and 6 play. 3rd and 6, a big rush. Bradshaw stands in, throws it to Franco Harris. He dives. Did he get the first down? It looks like he was short. I doubt if they want to try the field goal the way Trout's been going.
Well, you know, they kept Trout because of the strength of his leg rather than the accuracy, and he is a pretty good field goal kicker once you get outside 25 and 30. Very ordinary inside that area, but I think they're going to have a go at it now, and I don't think there's any reason with 1.5 foot to go. If they can put a touchdown on the board and assume they can kick the extra point, they're better than 2 touchdowns up, and they know this is a critical drive for them. I think they're wise.
Grossman, the tight end, is often a key on these short yardage plays. He's aligned strong to the right, and that's where the play is going. Greg Hawthorne puts his head down. He didn't get there. The Cleveland Browns take over the ball. Defense makes the play on 4th down. The Steelers don't get there, and Cleveland takes over the ball.
That play looked good from the time it started, Don. It looks like Hawthorne's going to find a hole somewhere in that mix-up. However, he didn't. Cleveland takes over, 8 points back. Lots of time.
Dear Atari Anonymous, ever since my husband Luno returned from Earth with Asteroids, the new Atari home video game, he and the rest of the family do nothing but play Asteroids. Luno says Asteroids is good practice for his interplanetary life.
Bitty bitty, bitty bitty.
Tell me, dear Atari Anonymous, with everybody hooked on Asteroids, what on earth is a poor Martian mother to do?
New Atari Asteroids, now available for your home.
The new generation of Dodge Rams made an X-Ford owner out of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Hard to believe it's America's lowest priced pickup. Equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Get $300 to $1,000 cash on select new Dodge cars and trucks. See participating dealers for complete details.
They're whooping and hollering in Cleveland have been all day long on a very cold November day as the Cleveland Browns just stopped the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 4th down and foot try for a 1st down. Now Cleveland trailing 18-10 early in the 4th quarter, goes on offense 1st and 10. Ryan Sipe falls down and the Steelers are quickly on him. And that hurts the Browns badly. Back to their 11-yard line. The other score, Cincinnati on a roll, leading 28-7 in the 4th quarter of play over Denver. Buffalo holding to a 13-10 lead in the 4th quarter over New England. The Steelers and the Giants tied up at 10-10. That game in the 3rd quarter at Philadelphia. The Eagles and the Giants. Detroit leading Chicago 9-7. 3 Ed Murray field goals, the scoring for Detroit. New Orleans possibly in the process of an upset of Houston, 17-10 4th quarter. Tampa Bay putting the Packers to rout in Florida, 30-0. Ryan Sipe stands in, takes a look, drills it hard, and the ball, it looks like it was caught inside the 25-yard line. Incomplete, they rule. It skipped in. At Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, the Chiefs moving along very nicely.
Hello, I'm Sam Nover. Join Rocky Blyer and me tonight at 11:15 here on Channel 11 for Sports Week. We'll have reports from Cleveland on the game you're watching and from Philadelphia on the Pitt Panthers. Plus a look ahead at next week's high school football championships. That's Sports Week tonight at 11:15 here on 11.
Right now, we've got 3rd down and 17. Normally, you'd see Brian Sipe say, pilot folks, we don't want to turn over. That could really hurt us. Right now, his back's up against the wall. He's got to get something down the field.
The Colts need improving their pass secondary, and the Cleveland Browns played him. Sipe said he didn't know who to pass to because everybody was open.
He doesn't have that luxury today.
Not today. Sipe throws long, going for the ball is Ozzie Newsome, intercepted by Shell. And now the return, and there are 10 Steelers in front of him. Shell outruns some of his blockers, but takes it back to the 30-yard line. So the Steelers, who turned it over earlier on a fumble when they were driving, the ball back on an interception, the 4th of this day of Brian Sipe, the 2nd for Donnie Shell, a 29-yard return.
Tell you, when you have to put the ball down the field, pick up a first down to get back in the ball game, you're down inside your own 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the secondary. And you tell me if somebody's open. If they are, I cannot find them. Here's Logan out to the side, but Sipe's already committed to go down the field. He's got 2 free safety men down there this time. They just decide who's going to pick it off. Call Shell's number, his second 29-yard return.
13:15 to play. Bradshaw takes a look, throws. He's got a man on the flat. Thornton catches another one. This guy's coming up with the ball like Craig Nettles, right off his shoe tops. 4 receptions for Sid Thornton. It's a dimension most people didn't know Sidney possessed.
Well, Terry's never really tried many of his backs in that department. This time it's strictly a second or third receiver. 2 men down the field are handled. Comes off to the third perfectly.
Gain was 6 yards on the play. Rutigliano fully aware that his Browns have to get the ball back and get the big play. The Steeler defense has not been giving up big plays. 2nd and a long 4 for the Steelers. They run the clock with 12:25 to play. Franco Harris down close to the 20. Henry Bradley, the middle guard, stopped him. The Bengals and the Broncos. 31-7 is the count now as the Bengals extended their lead with a field goal by Jim Breach. Cincinnati not only beats everybody, this not even close lately.
I'll tell you, I can think of 3 outstanding teams they've run right out of the ballpark in Pittsburgh, San Diego, and Denver.
We did that game, John, you and I, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. I saw Forrest Gregg, their coach, before the game. He said, "Where's this going?" I said, "To about 80% of the country." He said, "Well, you get out there and tell those guys that in the locker room so they don't think anybody notices them." I said, "I'm not going out there and making an announcement in your locker room. You can tell them." He said, "I'm going to tell them." So the Bengals came out, hired a kite. They always are for Pittsburgh. Early in the 3rd quarter was 34-0.
They weren't on again.
The decision was made in New York, but switched to a closer game. They played themselves right off the network. Bradshaw, 1st and 10. Better do something. He does. Goes to John Stallworth. He catches the ball inside the 15-yard line. 1st down reception to the 14-yard line. Going to make it 2nd down and 4. This Stallworth has been great, hasn't he?
Yes, he is. But I'll tell you, Bradshaw had no hurry. He wasn't even pressured after he'd taken 6 or 7 seconds. 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007. All right, let's throw it out here. Finally finds Stallworth on an outlet pattern. Picks up 8.
The Steelers now set up 2nd down and 4. Swan's on the right flank. He's been quiet for a while. You'll hear from him, though. And off they go to the run, and Sidney Thornton crashes all the way down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Pittsburgh from there. This is Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl championship football in the 2nd half. They don't look any better than this. No team does.
They're doing what very few people do. They're running inside against the Browns. It hasn't happened very often this year. Thornton makes a fine cut to find a hole, cutting back. Autry Beeman grabs a hold and hangs on. They pull him down about 2 yards short.
13-yard gain on the play, and again the Steelers have it point-blank range. Browns dig in now. Go to the goal line defense. Linebackers jump up. Bradshaw throws, man wide open. Ray Penny catches it on a tackle eligible. He was lined up as a tight end. Now they can let Corson spike it. He jumps up. Corson tried to dunk it over the goal bar. He can dunk a basketball, but he couldn't
dunk a football.
he just missed the dunk. Ray Penny, lined up as a tight end, is eligible. He was so open, he was probably afraid the ball would never get there. Look at Bradshaw. 9th straight game that Terry Bradshaw has thrown for a touchdown, and Ray Penny has the rare moment for an offensive lineman finding himself in the end zone with the football. Wasn't pretty, but Trout finally gets an extra point. Line drive, knuckleball through, and Pittsburgh has taken command of this game 25-10. 10:59 left to play. So Bradshaw and the Steelers strike, and we'll be back after this.
Hey, Michelob Light for the winning team, okay?
You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
United announces great low prices on complete Hawaii vacation packages. Prices that bring Hawaii closer. From the East Coast. Closer. From the Midwest. Closer. From every city United serves. United. Once-in-a-lifetime prices for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation.
Fly the friendly skies.
Let's watch again as Terry Bradshaw throws for his first touchdown of this day to an unlikely receiver, a normal offensive tackle, Ray Penny, who's lined up as a tight end. Now he gives it to Corson to try to dunk over the crossbar. He hit the crossbar. They say he can dunk a basketball at 6'1", 265 pounds.
A little muddy today, I guess. Couldn't get footing.
So the Steelers, as you see, go 32 yards after the interception by Shell on that 29-yard return. Kickoff short. Dino Hall from the 15, 20, 25, and out to the 30-yard line. And that looks like a free ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers say they've got it, and they do.
Pittsburgh's playing with more after it down today than I've seen them play all year long.
David Little, number 50, the brother of the former great offensive guard at Miami, Larry Chicken Little.
Yeah, Dino Halls, who's been a fine punt returner last week against San Francisco. He put the ball game back in the hat by coming back with a punt about 40 yards late in the game. That just about seals the lid right there, even though there is 10:49 left.
Steelers rolling in the second half. They've outscored the Browns in the second half. Browns have been shut out now. Here's Bradshaw throwing, looking, almost intercepted. Randy Grossman going for the ball, slip cutting back. Ball was up for grabs, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10 from the 30-yard line of Cleveland. Game clock down to 10:43 to play. Quiet desperation of a losing coach on the sidelines. Nothing Sam Rutigliano can do at this point.
They can't pass rush, and that's what somebody has to do.
Franco tries to go wide. He's caught and knocked down. Bradshaw threw the 5 touchdown passes last week for the first time in his career and the first time ever by a Pittsburgh Steeler. With the last touchdown pass he threw today to Ray Penny, he raised his career total to 190. He's now thrown a touchdown pass in at least 9 straight games. This is Don Criqui with John Brody at sold-out Cleveland Stadium. 80,000 here today. The Pittsburgh Steelers leading 12-10 at the halftime against their arch rivals, the Cleveland Browns. It really started to roll here in the second half. They've scored 2 unanswered touchdowns. They lead 25-10. Bradshaw just threw for a touchdown. They got the ball back on a fumble recovery on the ensuing kickoff. And now the Steelers are close to challenging again. Here's the last touchdown, and it goes to an unlikely receiver. A tackle-eligible Ray Penny gets his first touchdown. They have a little celebration set up. Ray Penny handed off to Steve Corson, the guard, who tried to dunk it over the crossbar. Almost broke his arm. But the points counted, and Cleveland's in down real trouble now, down 25-10. Steelers are going to have to punt the ball. 4th down and 15 coming up. Greg Coldwell ready to punt the ball, only his second punt of the day. He angles it for the far sideline. It's all going Pittsburgh's way as the ball is down by Ron Johnson inside the 5-yard line. So with 9:40 to play in the game, the score is the Pittsburgh Steelers 25 and the Cleveland Browns 10.
Introducing the 82 Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger driving machine, with even better mileage than last year. Front-wheel drive and improved suspension for better performance than last year. But the most incredible news for 82 is what isn't new, the base model price. Still America's lowest priced, highest mileage 6-passenger front-wheel drive car, the 82 Dodge Aries K Coupe, America's driving machine. And on other select new Dodge cars and trucks, get $300 to $1,000 cash. See participating dealers for complete details.
We're Exxon. We're Jay Stone and Joe Mifsud, who designed a better machine to help find oil and gas. We're Harry Bennett, using it to send vibrations miles into the earth that bounce back to reveal where energy may be hiding. We're Brian Olivier, recording this seismic information so that we can choose the best place to drill. We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon.
Tuesday, a retarded girl races to save the orphanage.
I'm gonna win.
Father Murphy. Then a powerful stranger uses Sam's ex-wife on Flamingo Road.
Brian Siphon, the unenviable job now trying to engineer the Cleveland Browns to a 25-10 deficit in the fourth quarter, 9:40 to play against a Steeler defense that has been overwhelming in the second half. That's intercepted him 4 times in this game. And Siphon, the Browns start out inside their 5-yard line, John.
And they've done it without a pass rush. That's what's even more commendable to the secondary.
The Steelers have been going with a 3-man rush, keeping 8 men back to defend. Siphon is end zone, stands in and throws and completes it to Mike Pruitt. He's to the 10, and Mike Pruitt breaks 1 tackle and gets out to the 15. Looks like a first down for Cleveland. They get some operating room. They're going right into their offensive alignment without a huddle now. 9:20 left to play in the game. DeBerg just threw to Steve Watson for a touchdown, but that's a case of too little too late as the Bengals roll again. Brian Siphon first down. Lost one. Intercepted by Donnie Shells. His 3rd interception of the game, the 5th of Brian Sipe. 9:03 to go, and again the Steelers take away the ball.
Tell you what, Donnie Shell's just having more fun. I guess he's Brian's favorite receiver. It's very tough when things are going against you. You're down on your own goal line. You've got to get something going. This is forcing the ball at a bad time. Overthrew it. Donnie Shell comes up with his 3rd interception.
This Bud's for all the guys who keep the action from getting out of hand.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Oh, a once-in-a-lifetime play. But I've got an instant replay forever on my RCA convertible video recorder. It's really 2 VCRs in one. It records my TV favorites, and it converts to a portable home movie outfit. So I can record Moose's big plays, too. The RCA convertible. 2 VCRs are better than one.
No one gives you more VCR than RCA.
Join hosts Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen for a Thanksgiving Day spectacular. It's the Battle of the Running Backs as powerhouse Billy Sims and the hungry Detroit Lions take on speedster Joe Delaney and the Kansas City Chiefs. Turkey and NFL football Thursday on NBC.
Back at Cleveland Stadium, the story of this game and in the second half has been the Steelers' ability to intercept Brian Sipe. You can't come back from 5 interceptions. They're not often.
Don, and more than that, Donnie Shell's been in the right place every time. When you're down, you have to fire the ball. There's no alternative. Everybody in the house knows it, and Shell's just been where he's throwing it.
You were talking about that defense of the Steelers. Right now it's offense, and here's an interception by Clarence Scott of the Cleveland Browns, and he's got some room to travel down the sideline. You know, you brought up a very interesting point at halftime, John Brody, when I pointed about the plethora of interceptions. You said if you're not turning the ball over and getting intercepted, you're really not playing very daring football, and you have to in a game like this.
Here's an interception that really surprises me because they've got the ball game iced. There's 8 minutes left to play. They could have taken a little more off. They didn't.
Bell System knowledge brings you a way to save energy by using your building's existing telephone lines. Save up to 20% of the cost of heating, cooling, lighting, while improving your communications capabilities. Energy and communications managed by a single system from Bell.
What's a nice new personal car doing out here? This is the new Dodge 400. The cockpit says personal luxury, but here's the difference. Front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, McPherson struts, electronically controlled engine, and another extraordinary difference, extraordinary mileage. Dodge 400 is no ordinary personal luxury car.
It's a personal driving machine.
I want a driving machine.
Dodge 400, America's personal driving machine.
Our statistician, Steve Dans, working a fast pencil to keep up with the turnovers. There's now 6 for the Cleveland Browns and 5 for Pittsburgh. 11 turnovers in the game. Brian Sipe stands in, sets himself all day long. That would be your full stick by the head sticker, Jack Lambert. The Giants have taken a 13-10 lead over Philadelphia in the 4th quarter. Try to figure out the Giants, and they'll put you in Bellevue for observation. Handoff goes to Pruitt. Mike Pruitt breaks outside. He's stood up and stopped by Mel Blount. And once they slow you up, these Pittsburgh Steelers, you can expect somebody else to get you. Green Bay gets on the board. 30-3, though, is the count.
Hot diggity, huh?
Yeah. Doesn't help much. Cardinals en route to sending Baltimore down to an 11th consecutive loss. Brian Sipe on 1st and 10 with 7:58 to play. Hits Greg Pruitt. He's out across the 40 and out to the 43. They're catching the short patterns in front of this zone defense of the Steelers. But when you catch it, John, you pay.
And you're also, I mean, right now Pittsburgh's giving them that pattern, but they've got to take it and hope a Pruitt breaks loose and picks up a big gainer because there aren't any holes down the field.
7:38 to play in the game. Pittsburgh 25, Cleveland 10. Brian Sipe stands in, rushes ahead. He goes down. See, so was coming up there to take a full shot at him. You remember that game at Three Rivers earlier in the season when Lambert put the hard hit on Brian Sipe, knocked him out of the game.
This is what Cleveland does very well, Don. They know there's 7 minutes and 8 seconds left. They've got to play as if it's a 2-minute drill. From the time they get it, they've got to score twice and kick a field goal. And they can't do it fiddling around down the field. They've got to get after it.
Number 90, Bob Coors. Number 59, Jack Lambert on the last tackle with 6:50 left to play in the game. New England has just put a score up at Buffalo, and that, if it holds up, will put Buffalo out of the playoff picture. Miami Jets are next, and right now a throw downfield from Brian Sipe in the flat is incomplete to Reggie Rucker. 6:37 to go. New Orleans extending its lead over the favored Oilers, 27-17. They're playing at the Houston Astrodome. Tampa Bay now scores quickly after Green Bay gets on the board, 37-3. The Packers about ready to concede that.
Call that one off.
Can't stand the warm weather. And coming up next, a great one, Miami and the New York Jets. The doubleheader game here today on NBC from Shea Stadium in New York. First place in the AFC East on the line in that game. 3rd and 5. Sipe takes his time and throws. It's too much on it. Cleo Miller was going for the ball.
Great play by Jack Ham because Miller faked the draw play. Still continued into a pattern. Very, very seldom does a linebacker keep his attention on the faking back and cover him all the way as Jack did. 4th down. There's no secret now. They've got to pick it up.
The Pittsburgh Steelers going for a 10th straight winning season under that man, Chuck Noll. In command of this game, 25-10 with 6:32 left to play. It was a tight game at halftime. 12-10, Pittsburgh with a 2-point lead. Then the Steelers came out, took the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter, and drove the ball right at Cleveland and finally into the end zone. Sipe stands and throws, and it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Dunn made a play on the ball. Greg Pruitt was going for it, but the Steeler defense rises up again.
It was L.C. Greenwood, who we haven't seen an awful lot of. He's just been in passing situations. But, I mean, it was some kind of play. Brian couldn't believe he got his hand on it.
There are 3 players remaining from Chuck Noll's first draft here at Pittsburgh. L.C. Greenwood, one of them. John Kolb and Joe Green.
Boy, that is a nice play.
Greenwood, Kolb, and Green in their 13th seasons. Now the Steelers get the ball back. 1st and 10. Sidney Thornton playing a big game for Pittsburgh. Runs with the ball, works hard, gets out to the 49. Clay Matthews knocked him down. The Giants extend their lead to 20-10 over the Philadelphia Eagles, an upset of no small proportion at Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Kansas City moves out in front now 27-6 over Seattle.
Okay. Let's change the battery.
5:52 to play here at Cleveland, and the clock is running.
They had a lot of things that are going Cleveland's way today. 1, Buffalo is losing. Number 2,
Pittsburgh.
Denver is losing. I'm not sure they cared which one won that game because they're trying for a playoff spot as a wild card just as much as they are.
That's right.
Winning the division. They'll get them to within 1 game of being there.
Lyle Alzado makes the stop. Pittsburgh very much in the running if they leave Cleveland at 7-5. Scheduling not easy. It never is for the Pittsburgh Steelers down the stretch. They have Los Angeles coming to Three River Stadium next Sunday. Then they go to Oakland. Cincinnati comes to Pittsburgh, and they close out at Houston. 5 minutes to go. The Steelers huddling and lining up, taking time and letting the clock wind down. It's down to 4:50 to play. Bradshaw throws, and Jim Smith makes the 3rd reception of this game, and it looks like it's good for a 1st down. It is. Down to the 43-yard line of Cleveland.
And you won't see them putting the ball up anymore unless it's necessary, and I don't think they'll deem it necessary for the rest of the day when you've got 4 minutes and 25 seconds left and a 15-point lead. That just kind of capped it. They're going to practice their hang-on tactic.
Jim Smith, 3 balls for 74 yards. You remember the one he got in the 1st quarter. Tremendous reception that eventually led to the go-ahead touchdown. Cincinnati up 38-14 now. Kenny Anderson just threw to Charles Alexander, a 65-yard touchdown pass play. Franco Harris takes it inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Franco's been working hard all day, driving the ball, coming up the middle, running wide on the sweeps, gaining the yards, powering his way ahead, and setting records. His touchdown places him 2nd on the all-time list with Jim Taylor behind Jim Brown. Career touchdowns, he has 83. He's run 20 times today for 77 yards. Needs just 3 rushes to pass O.J. Simpson for the most rushing attempts in National Football League history. Franco's been a hard-working back in his 10 years. Of course, he has an additional season when you consider the amount of playoff games he's been in. Bradshaw wants some more. He's looking at Stallworth. He's open. He goes up, and he loses the ball. Beeman was beaten, then recovered, but the ball came down, and John Stallworth couldn't hold it, stopping the clock with 3:04 to play.
Well, they must figure it's over.
Bradshaw must figure the point differential could come into play.
Well, let's remember now, Noll's calling the plays. So unless Terry and Chuck have decided, hey, I can handle it from here, this surprises me about as much as that last turnover. However, in 3 minutes and 4 seconds, you would say you have very little case. I'd like to assure myself of that and run the ball down.
Lynn Swan comes out on the right flank. Starworth is out in a slot to the right. And wide left is a third wide receiver is Jim Smith. Bradshaw on 3rd and 6. Loops it out to Franco Harris, and he's got room to go. Franco Harris cuts inside the 20. Franco goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. It's a first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tell you, the Steelers probably screen less than any team in the game. They've thrown 3 today. All of them have been effective. And this is just beautifully conceived. It's a blitz. That means nobody's hanging around. There's one guy responsible for Franco, but he's got his attention on Bradshaw. When it breaks clean. I thought he'd run it in. Finally, they pin him against the sideline, but they're trying to get more.
They are, and that point differential, you know, you look at the final things and all the tiebreakers when you get down to the final day. There's going to be a lot of records identical looking for the tiebreaker the way this is going right now. Russell Davis runs the ball, and Don Good knocks him down. The first of the finals is in. That thing was really final in the first quarter. 37-3, Tampa Bay over Green Bay. Will Bart Starr remain?
Are you asking me?
Not your problem, right?
It really isn't, but if I was Bart Starr, I think I'd file it. Selling cars has got to be a little easier.
Right now, breaking the action, 2:41 left to play in the game. We'll return to Cleveland Stadium with the conclusion of this game right after this.
Radio Shack makes Christmas dreams come true.
Oh, I love the frog.
Cuddly animals with a radio inside.
Maybe Santa will bring it.
The Petable portable radios. A Pekingese and raccoon. A frog and a lovable floppy dog. And a cuddly cat or a cute brown spaniel. Furry friends in a musical menagerie that'll delight your kids or teens alike.
Daddy, Santa brought my frog from Radio Shack.
Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend. Good eating style. Special of the week for gourmet's delight. Here's how to add a little weekend flavor to any dish. Served with generous portions of Michelob. Because that smooth and mellow taste helps make any time feel a little like a weekend. Put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers in championship form, especially in the second half, closing in on their 7th win of this season as they're up 25-10 with 2:41 left to play. And then we go to Shea Stadium in New York, where the winds blow in off Flushing Bay and make it a little rough late in the afternoon on a cold day. Miami and the Jets playing for first place in the AFC East. Doubleheader day on NBC. Sidney Thornton running hard. He's collared and knocked down by Clay Matthews. As the game clock goes down to 2:30 while we have a moment, let's go to New York to Bryant Gumbel. Bryant?
Don, the Buffalo Bills have pulled out a miracle win at Rick Stadium. Trailing 17-13 with 5 seconds left. Joe Ferguson throws it up for grabs. And look at this. Roland Hooks comes down with it. Buffalo to win it 20-17. Don?
Thank you, Bryant. There'll be some hooping and hollering up there in Buffalo, John. You've been there.
I tell you, there's some hooping and hollering whether they're playing or not. I guess they'll just have something to hoop about tonight.
Give them a reason. These Steeler fans would be having an enjoyable trip back down the 120 miles on the Ohio Pike to the Pennsylvania Pike. Dolphins and the Jets. Can the pass rush of the Jets get to David Woodley? Believe that it can. What do they have, 46 sacks or something like that?
Well, they've got an outstanding front four. It might be as good as any in the game, but I think the key more than anything, Don, is Richard Todd going to be able to actually play? He might be out there, but if he can't stand in the pocket and fire that ball against Miami, you know they're going to be tough to handle.
They're supposedly giving him a microphone to help him call signals because it hurts too much to yell out.
Well, it's going to hurt a lot worse if somebody's hitting it.
That will be the target area, those ribs. Here's a handoff, and they go right up the middle, down to the 5-yard line. And the game clock winds down to 2:10 to play. Sid Thornton's done a big job today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He started off in a bad way, fumbling 4 times against Kansas City. He's redeemed himself. The Pittsburgh Steelers holding to a 25-10 lead, getting set to go back to Pittsburgh to play Los Angeles. The Cleveland Browns' playoff hopes all but out.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1970, Tom Dempsey will try to do the impossible, kick a 63-yard field goal. Joe Scarpati gets the ball down. Dempsey caught it solid, and it's good! Tom Dempsey has just kicked a 63-yard field goal. With no time left on the clock, the Saints beat the Lions 19-17.
Alcoa can't wait. We're gonna keep moving on today. We can't afford to hesitate. Come on along, participate. Conserving energy every day. Alcoa and aluminum know the way. We can't wait. We're doing it now. We can't wait. We'll show you how. Alcoa can't wait.
We can't wait for tomorrow.
The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Football coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by George Finkel, directed by John Gonzalez, technical director Bill Tobey, associate director Joe Michaels, associate producer Michael Hadley. Don Criqui with John Brody, Cleveland Stadium on a very cold November day. Pittsburgh Steeler weather as they've rolled in the second half and now lead the game 25-10. Bradshaw with a problem, gets it away, puts it up, touchdown Pittsburgh. Rick Moser catches the touchdown ball. Former special teams player who was cut last year. Actually, the Dolphins scooped him off the waiver wire. He trailed around a little. He's come back. Some unlikely guys are getting in the end zone today, John.
Yeah, and it's all been made possible by Terry Bradshaw. He's done some of the most acrobatic, great things out of bad situations today. That's the second touchdown pass that happened because he made it happen.
Bradshaw now, the statistics show, is 15-4 against the Cleveland Browns as a starting pitcher. 19 games he's quarterbacked against them. The Steelers have now won 15.
He's probably got a better average than that against the rest of the league.
Recent years. Pittsburgh's even making the extra points now. They're up 32-10. Let's head back to New York for a moment. Let's go to NFL 81, and here's Brian.
All right, thank you, Don Criqui. Been an impressive day for the Cincinnati Bengals in general and for Kenny Anderson in particular. They are wrapping up their 9th victory. Pete Johnson got them off and rolling with a 39-yard touchdown down the sidelines to make it 7-0 Bengals. After that, it has been all Anderson. Rob Lytle got it close with a 5-yard score to bring the Broncos to within 14-7. But before the half ended, Anderson had run in for one score and thrown for yet another. He had 245 yards through the air against the best defense in the National Football League. This was the one that made it 28-7 just as the first half ended. Anderson to Collinsworth. In the second half, Anderson picked up where he left off, and the Bengals lead it 38-21. All in all, a very tough day for Steve DeBerg and company. They've just brought it close, 38-14, but it's a Pittsburgh kind of day. They're going to go to 9-3 after 12 weeks. Let's go back to Don Criqui.
Thank you very much, Brian. And that was a very interesting recap of some amazing play at Riverfront Stadium, where you have to really wonder, is this team really the best team in the National Football League, the Bengals? Certainly in recent weeks they've been playing like it. It sure is an upset if they are.
Don, I think it's a perfect example of how important one good player in the right position can help a football team. They have a kid named Collinsworth, who was a #2 draft choice. He's come out and he's put dimension to Isaac Curtis. He's let Ross catch some balls. He's allowed Kenny Anderson to get a resurgence. And I think the same thing might happen in Cleveland next year. They get a real speed wide receiver. They'll be able to stretch defenses, which they weren't able to do today. Brian Sipe might be able to find a little more room to throw the ball. They could get another pass rusher here, which could also help them. And they could jump right in the hunt. But right now, today, they were beaten soundly by Pittsburgh.
First and 10, Brian Sipe trying to get the Browns back in it somehow. Goes out to Mike Pruitt. He's played a heck of a game for Cleveland. Albeit a losing effort for the Browns, Mike Pruitt's played a tremendous game. The scores in the fourth quarter: Cincinnati 38-21 over Denver. That's the best defense in the league, Denver. They ripped off 38 points. You heard Bryant Gumbel talking to show you the miracle finish at Buffalo. Ferguson to Roland Hooks. The Bills win and they go to 7-5. The Giants upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles at the moment, 20-10. Veterans Stadium. Detroit could be a factor. You'll see them Thanksgiving Day here on NBC against Kansas City. They started all at 12 noon. And the Chiefs are rolling today. So are the New Orleans Saints, unlikely as that seems, beating the Houston Oilers at Houston. Sipe throws. He hits a strike to Ricky Feature. Feature goes down to the 44-yard line. Tampa Bay has closed out Green Bay.
They won't let us forget that one.
Kansas City on a roll against Seattle, 27-13. St. Louis, Baltimore making it close now. That's still in the third quarter. Sipe throws again. Greg Pruitt runs the ball across the 50. One time when Tampa Bay played at Green Bay, they just put Tampa on the scoreboard. They had Green Bay versus Tampa. John McKay said when Green Bay came down to play at Tampa, they're just going to put green on the scoreboard. Doubleheader day. Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets are next. Sipe throws. There's a man there. Ricky Feature is knocked down at the 25-yard line. Browns might be in the end zone again yet. But this one was decided some time ago, although that play went for 27 yards.
They might make it look close, but it really hasn't been, Don.
You know, when you look at the Cleveland Brown franchise over the years, it has been historically a team that has always had good clubs. If they do have a bad year, they invariably don't have more than one bad year. They have a very strong management team under Art Modell. What do you think they'll do in the way of draft or possible trades to try to get this team back where they were?
I don't think they have to trade. I think simply they have to get an outstanding defensive lineman, which there are 4 or 5 in the draft. They're in a position to trade to get one of those, and they'll get a wide receiver. And if they come up with those 2 qualities, they've got people that are outstanding, and they could dominate in 1 year, just like Cincinnati's doing. This thing is very close, and it's 1 or 2 great athletes that make the difference. You can go out to San Francisco. If they have a top running back, they're going to dominate. But for some reason, the big fella didn't give it all to any one guy, so you have to go out and get it yourself.
There's a guy who's played a full game. Craig Wolfley, offensive guard from Syracuse. Almost looks like a football player, doesn't he? Bob Hope comedy special tonight on NBC at 8 o'clock Eastern time. All the great ones will be there, along with Robert himself, who gets younger.
I can't believe it.
Amazing man. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank our NBC statistician, Steve Dans, assisted by Don Drevis, our spotters, John Betchko and Pete Halbin. As now we come down the stretch, Brian Sipe looking at the end zone, standing. Look out for L.C. Greenwood, and now for Bob Coors. Sipe throws and gets it away. Sipe's like a matador the way he stands in there, waving those bulls by.
That time, normally he'd have taken a few yards, probably taken a pretty good lick, but this baby's history, and with 34 seconds left, he just threw it out of bounds. He'll take the 15 yards.
Cincinnati's now 9-3 on the year. You could have gotten some long odds on that happening. 6-10 last year. 9-3 and rolling into Cleveland next week. Believe that the Browns will be ready to play that game, though.
Oh, yeah.
Intentional grounding, number 17, lost it down, 2nd down.
Intentional grounding is the signal. Coach Noel about ready to collect his winnings for a 7th time this season. That's how it'll stand at day's end. New Orleans continues to beat Houston. The Browns and Houston Oilers will both be at 5-7. Houston is a final, so Houston is lost. They are 5-7. In 30 seconds, the Browns will be. Mike Pruitt, though, still working hard, takes it down inside the 15-yard line. Lambert tackled him. 22 seconds left to go. "14 seconds. Brian Sipe looks into the end zone, pumps and delivers, and the ball is intercepted by Ron Johnson with 3 seconds left. Unbelievably, Brian Sipe has been intercepted 6 times in this game, although that one's of no consequence. Coming up next, the Miami Dolphins, another surprise team in the way they've rebounded under Don Shula this year. Going to New York, and it wasn't that many weeks ago, the New York Jets were a flaming disaster. When would the coach be fired? When would that move be paid? Richard Todd was a loser. Now all of a sudden they've gone through 8 weeks of play with the best record over those 8 weeks of any team in the NFL. The Jets have lost but once in the last 8 weeks, and they'll be playing for first place in the AFC East when they go against the Dolphins coming up next on NBC, a doubleheader day. The 6 interceptions, a club record. One the Browns would well do without. The gun sounds, the game ends, and again the Pittsburgh Steelers prevail, beating the Cleveland Browns and extending their record to 7-5. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game.
Here's to meeting new faces in new places. For that first day on the job, this Bud's for you. This Bud's for you.
They beat their arch rivals, the Cleveland Browns, 32-10. For John Brody, this is Don Criqui. Now stay tuned for the second half of our NFL doubleheader, Miami and the New York Jets.